Hello everyone, and welcome back to another WARNO deck deep dive, this time featuring the 39th Guards Tank Corps, the division that I would say maybe is the strongest in the game at the moment. But before we go in there, one quick shout out, WARNO monthlies are back. We had a short break in September with me taking a break as well, but we're back into business. WARNO monthly October coming back. Join in. It's both for veterans and for freshmen. We will split the pool in half again for freshmen and for veterans. Everybody will have 4 games to play over the October months and weeks. And yeah, we will also have one more big tournament coming up in October. More about that. But if you want to have some fun in competitive play and want to have something to look forward in each week in WARNO, join the monthly and get yourself some experience, no matter at which level you are. And now let's jump into the 39th Motostrelki, as this deck here is quite lovely. And as I said, most likely the best in the game at the moment, at least if you want to have the perfect combined arms. As logistics, it's pretty solid. You have an okay amount of slots. It's not the best logistics tab, but the Urals here are quite efficient with their 1000 supply, and you get some MTLB snubs as well. BTRs here doing just fine as a CV as well. They're fast, they can damage a bit, they can swim, and they're lightly armored so they don't die immediately. Artillery, so yeah, a nice CV here. 1.5 point, also a fair price. And then we come to a pretty strong infantry tab, especially now that autocannons do hurt again, and that the Bastion ATGMs here, the 9M 117s, have become such a menace with their extra accuracy. These, and the extra speed that ATGMs got in general, these things are absolutely deadly. Yes, they cost you 85 points, but they are really good. They have a fantastic longest range for gun, direct fire wise, 100mm gun to fire at infantry, and the longest ATGM on the ground as well. So really absolute long range fire support beasts, and with 5 frontal armor also more survivable than a good bit of other IFVs out there. And that makes them really, really strong. The infantry inside of them, with the Motostrelki and the Comrade and the Motostrelki here, decent, not great. 7 hit points is okay. 1 MG, a good RPG launcher here. Good range, good penetration. The RPG 7VL is nice, but outside of that, just standard infantry. But that's all you need. Then we have some Saperis and some Harry RPO, or some infantry close quarter fights for forests and co. Both pretty decent. Saperi RPO I use for forest usually, the normal Saperi for town fights. And I often mix them with the Otleni Podechki there, which are fantastic tank hunters here with the RPG 29. Great range, great damage, good accuracy. This is a fantastic anti-tank rocket launcher. Really enjoying these guys. And then we have some BMP 1P infantry here with the Motostrelki Medis. These do pretty well as well. The Medis still a fantastic for infantry as a ground-based ATGM. And then for some more firepower as an infantry, we have the Pulamachiki here with BMP2s if you want to have a bit of a cheaper squadron, because obviously 125 for an infantry unit is quite pricey with the BMP3. The Pulamachiki you get here for 100 points. They have a bit of AT capability as well, but obviously not great with the RPG 22. You use these for fire support. And then a Concourse as your ATGM here. Good as always. Pretty solid. Nothing super fancy. Coming in a UWAT, so you get them a bit cheaper. And you can move them around. The best that we currently have with the Soviets until the 27th comes around with the Concourse M. Let's see how that one will pan out. Artillery is pretty good nowadays as well. Euroguns are really nice. I like to have some cheaper artillery. You can obviously switch over to the Gwozdika as well, but I like the D30 for their high rate of fire and their cheap cost efficientness. The Gwozdika is pretty comparable as well though, so you could go for that one as well. And then some mortars here for smoke and for mass attacks. The Grad has a good rate of fire now, but it's unfortunately still not dealing a massive damage. I think with the price difference you just should take the Eurogun directly, as supply-wise both of them are same price for a salvo, and the Eurogun obviously has the way harder hitting salvo, so supply efficiency, the Eurogun is better, and as you don't have the best supply situation, I would highly recommend the Eurogun. This thing still eats up one of your Ural supply trucks per salvo, so you still should be careful here. Maybe switch one out of them, but in general, pretty fine here. And if you want to have some really hard-hitting salvos, the Euroguns here have you covered. Tank-wise, you are well situated as well. The T-80Bs and the T-62s now both have they have the same frontal armor, but they're pretty solid penetration here on the T-80B. T-62M is more for the Bastion ATGM here. The gun is not great accuracy-wise and rate of fire-wise, so you kind of want to use them on the long range or for brawler against lighter tanks, but they're cheaper, that's why they're in here. And then the T-80BVs really got you covered here. They are the hard hitters in this deck. They can outclass a lot of NATO tanks. All the mid and low tier tanks get absolutely demolished by it, and against the heavier ones you still have a chance if you get them 2-1. So T-80BV dealing with every threat pretty well. The active armor here really helping out as well the reactive armor, and they really help out with the hit points and helping out the survivability, especially against same sized threats. This is really good. Recon wise, I go with the cheap guys. I go with Kransas and Rajvetkas in this deck. You have some options here with some helicopter, motor Rajvetkas and some Rajvetkas sub-Harrys, but I really enjoy the Kranzer. They have decent firepower, but especially they're just cheap. You can't spam them around, and I like to have some infantry coming around. And the Rajvetka you can get behind enemy lines. The KPV is another extra optics units here, and just so that you keep on vision on the enemy. That's why I have these two. And then the Mi-24K, great, because the biggest weakness of this deck is that it doesn't have any real like forward deployment, like the enhanced forward deployment, the special forces and airborne one. You don't have anything there. And if the enemy rushes you, the Mi-24K is your one thing that can help you out, really equalizing the score there by demolishing, at least at one position, the enemy's push early on, or forcing them to unload early. And that's what the Mi-24K is mostly for, but the Recon can be really helpful, especially if you get a bit of a helicopter clump up. Then the Mi-24K with its extra optics can be helpful in that regard as well later on. AA-wise, it's rather simple. Iglas, Strela, and Coop. The Priusa a bit overpriced for what it does, and the Yosa, I don't like the ranges at the moment. It's a bit problematic, especially for something that is radar guided. The ranges are not great, so I like the Coop for the AA range, and the Strela here more for the anti-helicopter. It has the same rate, it has better range than the Priusa, yeah, and that's the one big thing here. You can use it long range against helicopters. It means that you don't have anything to stun down helicopters that try to rush you, but the Strela still has decent accuracy and decent damage. Not a big fan of the Strela 1 because it goes down even lower in range, and I'm not a fan there, and you run out of ammo really quickly here as well, and then you just a sitting duck. It's faster, which is nice for early pushes, but there I just use Iglas usually and move on with those guys. Helicopter, we have the cheap guys out, the cheap Heinz here. We could maybe potentially go for the Mi-24 VP as well, which has ECM and so on. But I feel like this deck is all about cost-efficient pushing, and these guys do that all well. The Mi-24V, first of all, bully enemy helicopters, can be really nice on ground units as well, on light soft ground units, and they really go well with the other helicopters as well. The Cocon here, pretty decent ATGM, and the rockets helping out as well. The gun, not the greatest, obviously, but it still does some damage against infantry, and with the rockets and the missiles, you really have a good setup here. And then the air tap is good as well. The Su-27S is a fantastic fighter, especially since the mobility of it was improved, as it now can turn around before flying over the enemy air defenses. And since everything's slower, it has also more time now to fire off all its missiles. I would still like to see planes going a bit slower, but it's already in a decent spot. And then, yeah, we have Su-25s in decent variants here as well, Rocket and AT, and the LGB, because that's a bit of a makeshift fighter as well, with its good gun, and it's for our 60Ms, you can use it as a makeshift fighter to support your Su-27s, and currently LGBs are just absolutely fantastic. So this is the deck. Um, Air tab wise, you could make a couple of differences. Recon wise, Motostrelki could be an option here as well. In the tank tab, I'm still not sure what to go. If the T62M is really the right option, but in general, it's really all about being always on the trade, because you can replace long term and you can replace relatively cost efficiently. So against all decks, you want to trade from the get-go basically. Against some decks, you want to get them out of all their tanks. For example, if you play against 35th Air Assault, you just want to hit them till they have no T64s left, and then you hit them hard. And against other decks, you just want to stay alive. As I said, the one big issue that this deck has is no forward deployment. So with that said, you mostly are on the brawling and a bit on the defending side, or on the counter-attacking side from the get-go. You often can't quite dictate the battle from the get-go, but you have all the tools to get out of there. And as I said, it's most likely the best set of tools that you could have in the game at the moment. And I really enjoy this deck. And yeah, I hope you're looking forward to seeing this in action. And if you don't want to miss it, click that subscribe button down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed all these contents as well. And I hope to see you all in the October monthly. See you there. Bye bye, and have a nice day.